Jennifer, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you. It is the new year. We are trying to
Yes.
we're going to get through this one. It's going to be better.
Yes, I am waiting and I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. I think we
Yeah.
all are. First of all, here we go. Another season. I got on the phone this morning with my sister. I said, guess who I'm talking to? Because my family loves the show we all watch.
Aw.
The cliffhanger and just knowing all the things that happened, okay, last night. What are we going to expect from the next episode? Because you got a lot to cover.
Well, there's a dam break, so we're gonna have to deal with that situation. We're gonna have to deal with that. Maddie is, obviously pregnant and hasn't seen her love in a few months because of COVID. So she's sort of, dealing with personal things as well. We're training Athena's daughter. She's being broken in on a pretty big situation. We have to make sure Athena is safe. And there's going to be some babies being born in the house in a very dramatic fashion. So we have that happening. It's all good 911 stuff.
It is, and I feel like you cover these disasters. The show is so great with showing things that actually can happen. It's real life moments. Do we see, obviously, like you said, the dam is broken. Do we see any other natural disasters that might happen this season?
Yes, you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot. Look, here's what 911 can always promise you is it's always going to be crazy. It's always going to be a really fun ride. And you're always, what I love about the show is I feel like you sit down and you're like, oh, I'm going to watch 911. I really like the show. And then within like the first 2 minutes, it like grabs you by the shirt collar and it just decides when it's going to let go. And usually that's not till the very end. And I love that. It's
Right.
such a fun ride, this show, but it also tells you so many things about humans and the human spirit and the people in it, and it's just so fun. We have a really fun season ahead for people, and it's not going to disappoint, I promise.
Now, you in real life, could you handle these crazy situations? I feel like, again, last year the world went through a lot, so we tested ourselves, but these natural disasters, you came face to face in real life with them. Could you handle it?
No. The answer is no. I like to play people who are better than me so that I can pretend to be somebody better than myself most of the time. And Maddie is just so much better than me at that. No, I have a real panic button inside, and I feel like I'd just be like, I'm so great. I'm just gonna lay down and take me. Like I can't. I've got no fight in me. I feel like maybe I could do it for my children and my husband,
Right.
but like for myself, I feel like I would just panic. No, I'm not. No, I'm just not good at that stuff.
And you are pregnant on this show. Is it giving you back some memories of when you were preggers, and like, is it good moments that you're feeling while you're playing this character?
Oh yeah, it's great. I mean, first of all, like as an actress on national television coming out of quarantine, nothing better than getting to wear a pregnancy pad after you've put on the quarantine 10, I like to call it, because there was no fasting. There was no like, oh my God, I have to go back to work now. What am I going to do?
Right.
I just get to put on that belly and go, so it's great. No pressure there for the first time, which is really lovely. The pad is weighted that I'm wearing, so I do actually pee every 2 minutes like a real pregnant person.
Wow.
And the crew laughs at me. They're like, like it's just fake. So that's been really fun. But yeah, it's been really sweet to play. I mean, when I started on the show, besides the emergency situations, the reason I wanted to be on this show was the stories of the people.
Right.
And these first responders and who they really are. And I am as big of a fan of Maddie and Chimney's love story as America is. So it's been really nice to play this part. I'm excited to meet their little human. I'm excited to see who that human's going to be and play that love story. And so it's been really fun.
And Maddie's character, again, with her boyfriend, the baby daddy,
Yes.
it's separate quarantining that's happening. Is
Yes.
that going to obviously affect a little bit of what's happening, especially with her being pregnant?
Yeah, I think it's you know, I think when we meet her in this season, I think she's feeling the loss of a partner and the celebratory things that go on with having your first child or a child in general.
Right.
She hasn't had that. You know, she's been living in an apartment with Chimney's brother, and although Albert is wonderful, he is not Chimney.
Yeah.
And I think that what I love about it is that Maddie sort of has a different perspective than Chimney. She's a little bit like, yes, we have to be safe, but why can't we be safe together? And it's really him who's panicked about bringing germs around her and, you know, all of that stuff, quite rightly, but it's really him who is keeping them distant. And so I think for Maddie, it's a little bit of like, you know, dude, you're going to have to at some point reach back out and come back into the fold because my situation isn't changing. So it's fun to see them kind of in that place when we start off, but they'll be back together soon enough.
Something very sweet that I saw, and I just wanted to make sure I get this right. So Kelly Clarkson revealed the kind of helpful advice you gave her earlier in her career. Do you remember that moment and exactly what you said to her? Obviously, I don't want to take your words, but it's important, obviously, for you to keep friends close in the inner circle that specifically prompted you to give that advice to her. Who were those friends for you?
Yeah, you know, I remember meeting her. I don't remember saying those exact things, but I remember meeting her, and I remember having that moment with only a couple of people at that time. And at the time that I met her, first of all, I was such a fan. I was rooting for her on American Idol, and I just knew she was going to win because she's just extraordinary. And I was probably geeking out and like about to throw up. I was so excited to meet her in that moment. So I was probably like, let me say something so that I can cover up that I'm nervous and freaking out. But I'm really glad that it meant something to her and that it touched her in that way. And I do remember very much being at a time in my life where I was hyper aware of, you know, when you first break out and you get to that moment where like people want to be around you, they want to talk to you, they want to understand, and you become a name, so-called, you know, thing. At that time, you're suddenly very aware that there are lots of people around you, but you only want to talk to a few, like on a real level, because you have to have people that remind you like that stuff is great, but it's noise. It's really an outer thing that is an engine that allows you to do what you love, right? But it isn't who you are.
Yeah.
So I was very lucky that I had a mom that I was really close to, a brother that I was really close to, a best friend that I was really close to, two best friends that I was really close to at the time. And those were really my people. And they were loud. They were loud about, this is who you are. That is not who you are. That is fun and it's beautiful, but that's not who you are. This is who you are.
Right.
You know, I would come home from premieres and days of press and everything. My mom would be like, that's great. Now we're going to take the trash out and we're going to clean our room and you're going to help make dinner. And that's awesome. You know, and I was like,
Yes.
but I'm special, right? She's like, not here. So it was, you know, it was a real gift to me. It was great. And my best friend was like, yeah, it's, you know, that person's cool, but I just want to like watch movies with you and eat nachos and like talk about boys. Like, I don't want to talk about what you did today on the set. And, you know, so it was great.
I mean, even with you saying it, it's a lot happening all at once. It's like you have to protect your energy.
You do. You do. You really do. I heard something great last year that like you have to picture yourself as like the world is a socket in the wall, you know, and so are people in your life, and you have to really choose wisely who you plug into, because you take that with you and they get to steal a little bit of who you are as well. And so I've been really conscious of that. Like probably the last couple of years of my life, I've been like, wow, who do I really want to, like, who am I going to plug into?
Yeah.
You know, like who do I want to have an energy exchange with, and going to give me something in return, and can I give to them? And I think the circle gets really small when you look at things like that, but it's a beautiful circle. It's great, and it's impactful and it's safe. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Beyond Kelly, has there been other, you know, actors or entertainers or anyone actually in your life who have seen your career path and have asked for advice ever? And do you really have any advice more that you can give to people, or is there also some energy that you want to preserve as well?
You know, there definitely have been, like, throughout the years, I definitely have have met, like, my mom and I would get random phone calls from like young girls and moms who would come out to LA to like try to, you know, break into the business and do basically like what my mom and I, you know, had done. And we definitely had some like really fun lunches with people to just sort of say like, look, this is where we maybe made some mistakes. This is where we did some things right. But really, this business in particular, I find like the journey is so unique and specific to each person, that it's really hard to give advice on it. The only thing that I think I've ever been able to say is, you know, I am always conscious of the fact that there are 50,000 versions of me, probably even better, sitting in the world who aren't getting the opportunity to do this. And so I do this every day for them. Right. And I'm very conscious of the fact that like, there are things about me that make me special. But there are lots of other people that have other things that make them special and could get to do this, and to do what you love, to know what you want to do at such a young age, and then to be able to do it is like the greatest gift ever, you know? And so you have to take care of it, and you have to do well by it. And you have to try to do it with as much, you know, light and gratitude and grace as possible.